Hi, I'm Fernando Medeiros, Director of the Fatherhood Initiative at the Department of Children and Families. You're going to see a film that shows fathers who are imprisoned with their children. And the reason that we're making this film and making it available to folks is that we know that there's a tendency in child welfare not to focus on fathers in general, and also particularly not to focus on fathers who are imprisoned. There's been a lot of work on this in the last few years, and one of the things that we found, and it's very consistent in the research, is that children who don't have contact with incarcerated parents really have negative consequences. They don't do as well developmentally, they don't do as well in school, there's even negative health outcomes, and we can have an important role in changing this for children. And as you will see in this film, we have partners within DOC that are working with fathers and are really helping to make this happen. Thank you.
The Fatherhood program is an 8-week program designed around curriculum for the inmates to learn several different things. First, the role of a father, what it means to be a father. Some of the ways that we do that is to take a look at their experience in relationship with their fathers, to take a current look at what they're going through now, some of the difficulties and challenges of being an incarcerated father. The big focus is to help them understand what their role and responsibility is so that they can value it and meet it and be an active father in their kids' lives as best as they can during their current situations.
My role as the facilitator here in Gardner is conducting classes that are basically on responsibilities that the fathers either need to learn because they never did learn it, or it gives them more direction on how to relate to their children under these circumstances. We run classes 3 days a week, and like I said, it's mostly discussions that so that they feel comfortable and share their personal experiences.
My relationship with my dad growing up was somewhat non-existent due to the fact that at the age of 3, my father separated from my mother, so therefore he wasn't really forming part of our lives. I used to see him on weekends from the age of 7 to the age of maybe 12. Then he returned back to the Dominican Republic, which is the island where he lives at and where we're from. And since then I didn't really see him until I was 15 for maybe 2 weeks period during summer vacation. After that, it was pretty much out of my life. I was out of his life. At the age of 19, I came to prison, and I just recently seen him again about maybe 2 years ago, and I'm going to be 32 now, so you figure with a 15-year span that I didn't see him. We are working on a good relationship now, but growing up, I had some resentment towards him. Obviously, I felt a sense of abandonment. I felt that if he was in my life, I might have made wiser decisions.
The fatherhood program has made me adjust for my incarceration because it's opened my children up. I'm really close to my children. We've had a great relationship at home, but the time that I've been here, they kind of, it's taken a lot away from my children, and they were afraid to come visit. They didn't feel safe. They went through a lot through the visits. The fatherhood program took a lot of that fear away from them.
I believe that they are very much invested in their own recovery after this program, as you can see a difference in the way that they speak about their children. The class kind of provides a freedom to speak about their children and relate to the way other men in the class are dealing with their situation and how they relate to their children.
One of the key components that we have is after they graduate the fatherhood program, they will have the opportunity to go into a graduates group. In the graduates group, we have more curriculum, more skill-based things to do, communications and things, but one of the exciting pieces is the visitation piece. This is an opportunity for the fathers to invite their children and 1 or 2 guardians to come to a visit where it's just the fathers that are in the program. It's not for general pop, so there is more opportunity for interactions with their kids that they may not have during a normal visit. One of the key things that we like to do is have activities and games for them to take part. So it's really neat is to see a father and child, sometimes hand in hand, go over, pick a game together, and then walk back to a table. One of the most normal things that fathers and parents can do is at their kitchen table play a game with their kids and discuss things and to have normal interaction. So when I saw this visitation, that's kind of what I wanted to emulate. A chance for the fathers to be with their kids, to laugh, to smile, to play, and to have normal experiences as best as they can compared to what they might have when they were at home.
The program has helped foster the relationship between Gary and his children. It helps him understand, because this is his first time being incarcerated, so it helps him to understand how he had to keep a connection with his children. It helped me to understand how I had to keep that connection with him and his children. Him serving time in jail was hard for the children, so making sure that they stayed in contact with him through not just phone calls, but through visits and through being able to talk to him and see him was a major thing in their lives and in his.
My relationship with my child has been very positive. I can actually speak to him as in tell him to do the right things, the wrong things, and not to feel bad when he talks to me. Ask me any questions if he's open.
The skills I learned in the Fatherhood program helped me throughout my visits in terms of talking to my children, getting them to share. Like when I was at home, we never did the big group, like we had the games in the program. We didn't really sit down and have a game day. Now that the Fatherhood program, we have it's kind of like a game day visit. And it's helped me because I get to teach them how to play with each other and me at the same time. Usually it's one-on-one, so they're opening up, and a lot of times they don't like to, kids, they don't like to share their toys with others. By us playing together, it gets them more into the sense of wanting to share.
Some of the issues the inmates bring to the class have a lot to do with their significant others or their ex-significant others. How do they deal with them? One particular inmate brought to the class how he hasn't been calling his children because he doesn't want to deal with his ex-significant other. And the class really rallied together and really supported him in saying it's not about you two anymore, and you need to use your communication skills and talk nicely to mom and respect what mom's doing out there because she is on her own. And he came back to class and just couldn't thank everybody enough because he now calls his children on a regular basis, and he did notice that his communication to mom might have been a little brass.
Some of the skills that I've learned in this class to teach my child has been encouraging to how to do things, not to be ashamed of himself. Anything he does, he can say to me without being scared, and just teaching him the right ways how to educate him.
The Fatherhood program is keeping them connected and keeping them in understanding and knowing what this place is and how we have to live and maintain our everyday living, knowing that things are not the same. Our lives have changed, and with this Fatherhood program, it has been a wonder for my children and for him, because now he understands more what he has to do for his children.
My role in my children's life is very, very, very important to me. I feel like I only have one chance. Being here is kind of hard for me, but I know that through the Fatherhood program, it's helped me understand that there are other fathers who are doing the same thing. So it's not over with. I still have time to reconnect with my children, which I do thanks to the Fatherhood program. I've been able to open up with them, and I feel like no matter what I've done as a child, now that I'm grown, I need to teach my children those values that I wanted my father to teach me, because I am in their life.
I've gained a lot of insight in what it means to be there every step of the way. I have a 10-year-old daughter, and I'm in a co-parenting situation, but outside of that, I have my daughter half of the week. I spent intimate time with her. I'm teaching her as much about life as much about herself. You know, we do just about every type of fun thing that you can think of. Read together, we go to museums, we go to plays, we go to movies, sporting events. I'm giving her the type of quality time and the support and the love and the nurturing that was absent in my life. I remember growing up saying that I didn't want to be the father to my child that I didn't have in my life. And so my commitment to being the type of father that I am today has everything to do with all of the things that I didn't get when I was a young man.
I think this is one of the most positive programs I've worked in the Department of Correction, and I'm an advocate for the children, and you know, they need somebody to push them over that shame and that guilt, so that these innocent victims don't suffer from their father's incarcerations.
I've noticed the different changes in this fatherhood visit, as he's happy when he sees me. When he walks in, he comes running to me with a smile. And before that, he used to just come in and just drag his feet, drag his body towards me, like, oh, not this again. But now he's just very openly, very happy, running around, joyful.
Those are the kind of reasons that we do these visitations, so that dad and child can have a bond grow again, to have some familiarity, so that when they get out of prison, that there is some ground level work that's been done and normalcy in the relationship.
Some years ago, when I was trying to understand, you know, the full impact that my father had on my life, I was asked to write a poem about somebody that I was angry at, and to put the words in the words of that person. And at that time, my dad was the person that I was angry at. And so I wrote a poem which is called Long Goodbye. And this poem was written in the words of my father and what I would have wanted him to say to me. Today he's deceased. I've never had an opportunity to spend any time with him, nor have I ever seen a picture of him. So this poem was almost kind of like recreating an experience that I never had. And it goes like this. It goes, to say goodbye was hard for me, so I slowly walked away. The sun was bright, the birds flew high. It was the morn of a brand new day. I must confess for what I've done. Son, please do understand. My life, my goals were never met. I was a failure of a man. Alone at night, I would often say, will I ever go back one day? So many years have passed and now he's grown. What truly could I say? No memories, no spoken words, no walks around the park. His birthdays, which I've always missed, made years for me feel dark. I love you, son. I miss you, son. I hope you don't forget. I know it's hard to say goodbye to someone you.
And as I hung up the phone, it occurred to me, he'd grown up just like me. My boy was just like me. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, Dad. We're gonna have a good